up on the midpoint of the season. What should be the focus of the team in this second half? Should it be development, team building, something else?
I mean, you're going to get different answers from probably different people within the organization, right? Like my focus is to win hockey games. That's what I'm here to do and help do. But I think the biggest thing is we haven't really nailed down an identity, right? I mean, that's probably the biggest issue facing our team. It's probably the reason why our record is the way it is. We played some spurts where we've had an identity, but we haven't sustained it. So to me, that's probably the most important part of where we're trying to go and build this. And, we've talked a lot, right? We've said a lot of things and haven't really followed through on doing them consistently enough. So I think that's probably the biggest thing is walking the walk now, right? Like in what we're asking for as a team of being a hard forechecking, tenacious style of hockey that people are proud of, that we're proud of, that every night you're going to have to play a hard game against us, and we haven't done that enough. So that's on every guy in here, myself included, to get to that identity. And if we don't do that, then it's going to be the same as it was the first half, right, where it's inconsistent and you have moments where you're like, oh, is it coming? Or instead of just sustaining it and building that foundation from the bottom up.
What is the roadblock to that?
I think it's in the mind. I think it's in the mind and in the understanding of what it takes to win here, right? And that's the hardest thing is when you're in the position that we're probably in, every team comes in here thinking they're going to have a chance to beat you, right? That's the reality of when you're in the bottom tier of the league. So you have to fight that by playing such a tenacious, hard style, and it's not easy to do, right? The mindset over a team is sometimes the biggest hurdle. And there's reasons why some teams toil in the bottom of the league for a while, and I don't want to be that team. But in order to get out of it, you have to be so tenacious on your mindset and how you prepare every game and how you fight every game to get out of it. And I think we just haven't done that enough. There's been moments where we're like, and I think we take a breath, where we've had that 3-game winning streak and then we took a breath. And it's like, well, no, like we're still not out of the bottom of the league. We're still not anywhere near being respected right now. So we have to earn it every single time we step on the ice, and I think that's the big difference.
Seth said that you guys as leaders had a meeting or a kind of a serious conversation about what the identity of this team is. So what was talked about with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're trying to find a way to sustain that, right? And so we talked about what it is that we really value and what's going to make a difference and allow us to have the non-negotiables of what it is that's going to be the brand of hockey that we're going to be. And I think we talked about just being a relentless team, a forechecking team, a heavy team, and we need guys to understand. It's not about like running around and fighting or hitting. It's about just when you're on a one-on-one battle, it's being over the puck. It's not allowing the other team to win it. And if you have a chance to get it in, it's getting in. So that guy can change if they're tired and they're not coming back on a tired defense or on a tired line. And there's so many components that go into it. But I think that's really where we have to hammer down and hold each other accountable to that. So, it's not earth-shattering stuff. It's just stuff that when you are in the position we're in, it doesn't come as consistent as when you have a culture and a foundation that's been doing it for so long.
I think that Anders mentioned something about like shifts off. Do you see guys like taking the shift off to try to because they're fatigued or whatever it is, or
I think the first thing is when you're tired, your brain shuts down, right? So I think when you're high energy and you're playing the right way and your shift lengths are short, it's amazing how your game just comes to you because you're thinking clearly. You're not overextended. You're not just trying to get out of the shift. You're actually trying to make a play to make something happen in the shift. And too many times we get hemmed in or we don't get a puck all the way in, and now they're turning. I mean, we do it to teams when they don't get the puck all the way in, we're coming, and so it's no different for our team. And now you have pressure. Now they're tired. Now they turn it over again. So we just seem to get caught in that hamster wheel a little bit, and that's what he's probably talking about, is that it hurts the team. And it's not shifts off. Every guy's trying in here. That's one thing I'll say. There's nobody that's not trying, and that's the hardest part. But it's frustrating when you're not playing to the identity that you need to play to collectively as a group.
Nick, I know you were saying similar things you and Seth at the end of the last season, kind of the exit interviews. Do you feel like you're banging your head against the wall to get this team to turn this corner culturally?
I think when you care and you really want to help get this team back to where you expect it to go, and you take pride, and there's a lot of guys that take pride in this, but I think Jonesy's a guy that really wears it because when he got here, things didn't go as planned, and he wants to see this team get back to listen, when you've tasted what playoff hockey's like, what winning hockey's like, that's all you want to do is get back to that. So that's what you hope to help attain here. But the big thing in this room is we're fighting against understanding how hard it is when you're in the situation we're in. I think that's what we were talking about last year. It doesn't just flip a switch, and I'm sure it's frustrating for the fan base because it's frustrating, and whatever they feel, it's 1,000 times worse for us. We are the ones going out there. We know we want to put a great product on the ice, and it's not going to be this perfect, climb. It's going to have these peaks and valleys, and right now we're obviously in a little bit of a valley, but I think the greatest picture is just you got to hold on to hope, and I think that's where we have to get back to, is like understanding that this isn't going to be just an easy shot back up to the Stanley Cup contenders that we want to be. It takes time, it takes work, it takes a lot of effort and discipline, and that's where we're lacking. We're not giving the discipline required, I think, consistently enough to get ourselves into a position where we're playing consistent hockey and consistently good hockey. And I think that's where you get a little frustrated because it's there, it's in the group, but it just takes a little bit more from every guy. And if we can do that as a group and we can come together, it's amazing how easy the game starts to feel. Because right now, obviously, it doesn't feel as easy, right? Like but it's because everyone's a little bit off. We're not on the same page quite as frequent as we need to be, and that's, like I said, it takes us as leaders to lead the way and for guys to listen and for the game plan to be what it needs to be. But if you don't have that identity solidly instilled, you're going to get that. But the big thing is, we're trying in here, and there's a really proud group, and we're going to sort this out. It's easy to pile it on when things aren't going well, but I think we're a group that takes a lot of pride, and when we do turn it around, we'll be able to look back and say, yeah, we went through that, but here we are now.
We all silly like the mayor.